Hi, Phyllis here from southernfrugal.com. This morning I'm going to make Sauerbraten in the Crockpot. Now, I have not marinated the Sauerbraten and I'm not going to because it takes too long. But you get really the same effect cooking it this way, I think. Close enough anyway. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is brown our little chuck roast. Got a pretty nice chuck roast. It's got a lot of marbling in it, but no matter what, a chuck roast is always tough until you cook it long enough. So, got my skillet heating with a little bit of oil. I put the screen over it, and then I put a paper towel over that just because I don't want it all over my stove. Okay, over here I've got my crock pot already on, and I'm going to put 1 cup of water in there. Then I'm going to put a ½ cup red wine vinegar. Let's dump that in. I'm going to use 1 cup of red wine, and this is just the one I'm using. You don't really drink wine, but I use it for cooking a lot. So you want 1 whole cup. And we're going to put all that in. Now I've got my crock pot on high. I'm going to put that lid on it because it'll get hot quicker if you do it that way. Now, when I turn my meat over, and move this out of the way. When I turn my meat over, I'm going to add some onions and carrots. Now, you can find this little Vidalia chop wizard on my website. Under products I highly recommend. You can get it on Amazon. It really works super. Now, a nice lady that is one of my subscribers sent this to me. It was a great gift, and I have used it. I couldn't even tell you how much I've used it. Alright, so I just sliced my onions a little bit. So that's 1 medium-sized onion. So there's the onion, and now I'm going to do some carrots. Now, I'm always nervous when I'm doing carrots in this because I'm afraid I'm going to break it, but so far I haven't broke it. So I want my carrots sort of sliced in cubes just like the onions. So I've already kind of sliced them a little bit, and these were small onions, so they should be pretty tender for slicing. Now, I wanted to say something about browning the meat. Even though I've got the skillet very hot, or the pan very hot, once it gets good and brown, it will let go of the bottom of the pan. So that's all I'm waiting for on that. Alright. And we're just going to add these carrots and the onions after I turn the meat over and it browns for just a little while. Alright. There. Alright, you just take that out. This can go right in the dishwasher. There are my onions and carrots. And it just saves a lot of time in chopping. It really does. And you can just put it right straight in the dishwasher. It's really not that expensive. Alright, I'm going to check on this meat now and see if it's ready to be turned over. Can you see that? See how brown it is? So I'm just going to make sure that oil's in the middle. Brown the next side. And I put this paper towel over it because I just don't like to have to clean up all those little minute spatters of grease everywhere. So I'm going to let this brown just a minute. Anyway, I fixed Sauerbraten. I have actually fixed it. Sorry, I'm having to talk loud because this is making a lot of racket. Where you marinate the meat for 2-3 days sometimes. And when I fix it like this, or when I fix it in the pressure cooker, which is the way I've been fixing it for the last several years, I can't tell the difference. To me, it tastes just the same. So I don't really see any point in doing all that soaking and, turning it and all that kind of stuff that you have to do. I mean, this is like Sauerbraten in the modern age. That's what I'd call it. Alright, so Crockpot's on. I've got the wine and the red wine vinegar in the pot along with a cup of water. And we're going to add another ingredient that's going to really, really surprise you probably. Alright, now while that's browning on the second side, I'm going to put in, it's already browned a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and put in my onions and my carrots. See, then that goes right in the dishwasher. Well, I'll actually rinse in little tidbits of onions and carrots out, but then it goes right in the dishwasher. Now, I don't know if you can see that or not. Let's see. Let's go in. There we go. If I had a cameraman, I wouldn't have to go through all this. Alright. Back up a little bit. There. Alright, so I'm making sure my onions and carrots are actually in the pot rather than on top of it, as much as I can. So it's just sauteing these onions and carrots just a little bit. Because we're going to be ready to put this in the crock pot in just a minute. Now, to go with this tonight, we'll be having this tonight because it's going to need to stay in the crock pot 5 or 6 hours or longer if you like. Now, I don't work, I'm retired, so I go ahead and cook it on high for just 5 or 6 hours. But you could actually put this on in the morning on low, let it cook all day, and when you got home, first of all, your house will smell wonderful, and your meal will be almost ready. But to go with this meal tonight, I'm going to get some cabbage and potato casserole, and it's somewhat of a German dish. I mean, several countries claim that it was invented in their country, but it seems very German to me. And I've done a video on that, and I'll put a link to that down below. So all this is going to be a really good meal with not much trouble at all. And that's the way I like it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and, if I can find my lid, there it is. I'm going to go ahead and just put the lid on this for just a few minutes, and that'll be it. Alright, now when this completes cooking, let me get back to where I am. There I am. When this completes browning and the onions and carrots have sauteed for a little while, we'll be back, okay? See you in a minute. Okay, my meat is really good and brown on both sides, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in the crock pot. Sometimes I think the meat people in the grocery stores cut the meat to fit a crock pot like this, because somehow or other, when I get a chuck roast, if I want to cook it in the crock pot, it always fits perfectly. Alright, so here are my onions and my carrots, and I'm just going to put a little bit of water in there to deglaze that pan. Maybe just about a half a cup. Because I want all that brown goodness in my roast too. And it doesn't take much, just a few little minutes. You can get all that brown up off the bottom of the pan. Alright, so we're ready to dump this in now. I'll put maybe about a teaspoon of salt in here. Now I tend to go light on the salt when I've got a lot of spices in something, because really you can't even tell that you don't have a lot of salt in it, or at least I can't. My husband used to take the salt when we first got married, and no matter what the meal was or how much I'd salted it or not salted it, he would take the salt and shake it over everything in his plate. When we went out to eat, no matter what it was, I mean, if it was French fries, he would salt them again. So we finally got him out of that habit. It took a couple of years, I'll tell y'all, but he finally stopped doing that. And I think your taste buds adjust to a lower salt content after a while. But it does take a little while, maybe 2 or 3 weeks of not eating so much salt on your stuff. Alright, so we're ready to dump these in now. I'm just going to dump them right on top. Alright, now, to make this taste authentic German Sauerbraten, this is what we're going to do. Let me get a little closer. Alright, I do wish I had a camera person. It would work out a lot better. Okay. These are the Moravian cookies. Now, these are the ones that my husband were his second choice. The ones I picked Saturday were the ones he liked the best. So, what I'm going to do is put cookies in the Sauerbraten. Now, these are very much like gingersnaps. So, if you want to make this Sauerbraten in this way, all you have to do is buy a pack of gingersnaps at the store, because these Moravian cookies have the same spices that you would put in Sauerbraten. Alright, even the little cayenne pepper. So I'm going to use, I think I've got 11 cookies here, and this is actually going to make that gravy. So once this gets done, all I'll have to do is take out the meat and slice it, and the gravy will already be made. I'm just shoving those down in the side, and what they will do is dissolve in there. And that will make the gravy, plus it's the spices. And because they're so thin, let me show you. See, it's already dissolving. And that will make our nice gravy. Alright, so I'm going to put the lid on this 5 or 6 hours on high, and it'll be ready. Alright, when this gets ready and we slice it up, I'll be back. Okay, we have finished with the Sauerbraten. It actually ended up staying in the crock pot there for about 6 hours. There's the gravy. Now, one of the things, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but what I do after the Sauerbraten's been cooking for about maybe 2-3 hours, I went ahead and put 10 more of those little Moravian cookies in it. That's so the gravy will be thick. Now here's the potato and cabbage casserole. Now I'll leave a link for that down below. It's layered with very thin sliced potatoes, then cabbage that's just been slightly steamed, then cheddar cheese. Then you just repeat the layers and end up with the very thin sliced potatoes on top. It's really pretty much a German dish too. Now, see this gravy? You know that a chuck roast has a lot of fat in it. So what I generally do is, we'll go ahead and have some of that tonight, but I end up putting it in the refrigerator and the fat all comes to the top, and I just, it'll be a solid, so I just scoop it right off. So the next time we have this, the gravy won't have near as much fat in it. Now I can tell you that this is fall apart tender. See that? fall apart tender. It's absolutely delicious because I've already tasted of it. Okay, we will see y'all next time.